Donut Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now check this out. In the super middleweight division, the division from the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez division, he's the undisputed champion there, right? He got all 4 belts. But don't forget, one of them, the WBC, was given to him, right? So I got him as undisputed with an asterisk, but he's still a bad boy. But sometimes, you got to call it out for what it is. But at the end of the day, we have an issue here. Now check this out. The worst fight in boxing right now would be David Benavidez versus David Morrell. Now why would I call that the worst fight in boxing right now? Right? Because Dave Benavidez is all that in a bag of chips. Dave Morrell is probably one of the baddest dudes out there boxing, period. Right? They had a 160-pound division. One of them is the WBA regular champion for about 2 years in a sanctioned body who wants to consolidate their belts. They don't want no more regular champions. Those regular champions are now the mandatories for those real champions. Just not in this division because, hey, you know who the real champion is? Canelo Alvarez. And we ain't mandating him to do nothing because he's above boxing. Dave Benavidez is the one everybody is saying, hey, this is who Canelo Alvarez should fight because David Benavidez is bad. That boy is awesome. Throws a lot of punching. It's a big super middleweight. He ain't losing to nobody anytime damn soon. If Canelo don't knock him out, he's gonna lose but with points, right? So that's who Canelo has to fight. He's Canelo's mandatory for the WBC for who knows how long. Matter of fact, David Benavidez had the WBC championship. He just lost it on the scales. And when he lost it on the scales, that was the beginning of COVID. When we were all scared, people wouldn't even jog outside at that time, let alone inside sometime. So at that time, everybody was overweight. But okay, they took it for him for a reason, right? So anyway, he's there. People talking about Canelo Alvarez is supposed to fight him for the longest. But for some reason, that's not happening. So what do we want to do now? Well, Canelo's mandated to fight both of these guys, but we can't do that. So what do we got to do? We want to cancel them out. We want David Morrell and David Benavidez to fight. I read an article where David Benavidez needs to prove that he could get the Canelo fight. And everybody else that Canelo is about to fight or thinking about fighting ain't got to prove a damn thing. Never. Yildirim didn't have to prove nothing. Right? Rocky Fielding, dude, correct him because I call him Roy Fielding. Rocky Fielding, he didn't have to prove too much. Now, did he? Callum Smith didn't have to prove nothing. Mir Khan didn't have to prove nothing. Kato, anybody. Don't have to prove nothing. Just them real good ones. Them Demetrius Andrades of the world, who Canelo did the same thing to. This David Morrell versus David Benavidez is the same thing as Jamal Charlo versus Demetrius Andrade was for 4 years ago when Canelo was in the middleweight division. So we're just going to let him do that. Now let me say something to you Mexican people who just condone this. Don't let people tell you that you don't like black people or any other person. That's not you. That's somebody telling you that you do. And you're just following. There's no such things as enemies on the planet. There isn't. People tell you wars all over the world are fought by kids. But grown-ass men are just acting like telling these kids to go fight their wars. And there's not enemies. If you go meet these people that you shooting guns at or that you hate, you'll find out you love them. I'm in LA right now, talking to Mexicans every damn day. Had a good conversation with, what's my girl name? Estella today, right? Good conversation. Love my Mexican brothers. I ain't let nobody tell me that, we're supposed to hate them, each other. That's ridiculous. Get over it. It's about fairness, right? This is just simply about fairness, right? Canelo, there's no reason in the world to, if you don't want to if you like him or you don't like him, whatever. But it's got to be fair. There's other fighters out there right? We don't want to call the fighters the very, very best when they just refuse to fight the very best, right? And everybody else is on hold, right? Bottom line is David Morrell and David Benavidez shouldn't even think about meeting until one of them has fought Canelo. But I've been saying this, the same thing. Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade, none of them supposed to meet until they fight Canelo. When Canelo was at the Zone, right? He was signed with the Zone. When Demetrius Andrade was signed to the Zone, with Jai Golovkin and Jaime Munguia all signed to the Zone. When Demetrius Andrade had a fight, right? Who did they start calling out? None of the Zone guys. They start saying that Demetrius Andrade versus Jamal Charlo should be the fight that everyone wants to see. They're doing the same thing with David Morrell and Canelo. Nobody wants to see that. Not yet. Until the fight is more significant when one of them has fought Canelo. Then, unless Canelo is not considered the very best, if he's stripped of his titles, we'll roll on. Then go ahead. Canelo continues the circus fights. Right? But we're not going to have David Benavidez have to do something else. You know, he has to prove something else when I read the article. He beat Demetrius Andrade, my boy, a Negro League fighter who I had as top 2 pound for pound. I still got him in my top 8. Right? He's still up there, Demetrius Andrade. You ain't going to just age him out and I'm going to act like we're going to ignore this guy for years and won't fight him. And those are badges of honor when great fighters don't fight somebody. And Demetrius Andrade has been avoided like no other, or very few fighters. You get points for that on my damn pound for pound list. I don't care what everybody else talking about, right? We're not going to have that. We're not going to have a person to ignore him and don't fight him and obviously avoid him, and he's not there. David Benavidez beat Demetrius Andrade. I know Demetrius Andrade is 35 years old. I know he had to move up in weight, but beating him is still beating him. He was undefeated, and he's extremely awesome. David Benavidez is huge. He outweighed him, right? He's going to outweigh him way more than Devin Haney's going to outweigh a Ryan Garcia, right? But we don't mention how much he was outweighed. Now we're talking about Devin Haney going to outweigh Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia moved up 100 to 140 pounds before Devin Haney, right? Those are the kind of things that would be happening. Keep your eyes open on stuff like that. But at the end of the day, David Benavidez beat Demetrius Andrade. He's going to get props for that. Even though Demetrius Andrade is my boy. You beat him, right? So now you ain't got to prove I got to beat Morrell too. To do what? The more beating you're going to do, the less times you're going to fight Canelo. Do you think Adam Yildirim, even though he's bigger than Demetrius Andrade, is Yildirim going to beat Demetrius Andrade? Is Billy Joe Saunders going to do it? Is Callum Smith going to do it? Callum Plant going to do it? Amir Khan going to do it? Kato going to do it? Kirkland going to do it? And anybody else that ain't named maybe Dimitri Bivol is going to beat no damn Demetrius Andrade, right? So David Benavidez done that. He's proved what he is. It ain't no more proven, because if he beats David Morrell too, then all that means is we only got to avoid one. Because the one who loses, we can act like he lost. That's what that's all about. People, open your eyes. Ain't nobody want to see no damn David Morrell versus David Benavidez unless one of these guys fights Canelo Alvarez. Or Canelo Alvarez is stripped of his title and he can go on and do what the hell he wants to. And then David Benavidez and David Morrell can fight for undisputed or something like that. Then, hell yeah, we want to see it. But we ain't got no time for them two to fight, and somebody who's scared to fight both of them is considered better than both of them. Doesn't this sound like a rewind record that I've been saying for 4 years? Same thing with Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. Let's not let that happen, and stop letting people tell you who you're supposed to hate. Go meet the people you're supposed to hate and you'll find out you really don't. Dope Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm about here, y'all.